the YouTube Shorts live, just kind of seeing how it works and make sure that my mic is working and answer any questions that you might have in regards to the carnivore diet today. There's something that I'm very passionate about, and I've been carnivore for over 14 months. I've healed a traumatic brain injury. I'm reversing my autoimmune condition, vitiligo. And, I've had numerous other health benefits like depression and anxiety is gone. Brain fog is gone. All these conditions and issues are resolved with me 100%, and I never would have expected that sort of a thing to happen with just changing my diet and changing nutrition. So I'm here for everybody today, and if you have any comments, questions, things like that, I'm going to try to figure this out on the fly and answer your questions. So I hope everyone's having a great day. I appreciate you spending this time with me and spending some time with me in the office today. Talk about the carnivore diet, talk about steaks, talk about meat, talk about bone broth, talk about whatever you want to talk about. So let me know where you're from in the chat. I'd love to get to know you a little bit more and test out this YouTube Shorts and see what's going on. No idea if anybody's going to show up. I didn't really announce this, and I just want to spread the good news and the good word about the carnivore diet and what it can do for you. So if you're on the fence, or maybe you're even struggling with the carnivore diet and you're looking to kind of level up your game, I'm here to try to help you out. If I can't answer it, I'll try to direct you to someone that can help. So, hey Art, howdy from Fresno, California. I see you there. D. Lee, how you doing? Good to see you, everybody. Where are you from, D. Lee? So I'm here in Dayton, Ohio. Right now it's pretty gloomy. Doesn't look too great, but we have our good days here and there, I must say. Let's see. D. Lee says from Bear, Chicago. Okay, nice. Chicago's a nice place. Andy, hello, sir. Just stumbled into your stream. Looking forward to seeing you again soon. Absolutely, yeah. It was really fun meeting you at that meetup, and I do want to get to do some more of that sort of thing. The meetups, it's really cool meeting people in person and just kind of getting to know people more than just electronically, like we are here today. So we in regards to that, we are doing a lot of meetups around the country, Carrie and I, with the documentary. So we plan to do a meetup at almost every filming location that we do. It may not be a large meetup or anything like that, but it'll be smaller and more intimate. Our goal is to try to obviously raise funds for the documentary, but if we can at least make that filming trip paid for, more power to us, and we'll be able to add more stories and more testimonies to the documentary overall. Let's see, what do we got here? K-Day, Los Angeles, California. When did the cravings for sugar stop completely? So Kay, for me, it took roughly about 4 weeks for that to happen, and mainly it was because I don't think it was so much the physical addiction at that point. I think that was essentially broke at maybe like the 2-week mark, maybe a little bit more than that. But it was more of a mental thing, to be honest with you. And I think that's the main challenge with most people when it comes to making any sort of a lifestyle change is it's the mental part of it. We just go back to these things, the routines that we have always had, for the longest time, and I don't know. It's hard to really say, but yeah, for me it was 2 to 4 weeks, somewhere in that area. The physical addiction, it only lasts for so long. If you might get headaches or lightheaded or something like that, until you get fat adapted. But yeah, so maybe about 4 weeks. Let's see. Andy says a meetup in the Indy area, April 27th. Not sure if I'm free for that one. Let me see. Check my calendar here real quick. 27th, I am not available. Carrie and I are actually going to film down in southeastern United States. 2 individuals that I know of, potentially 3. So Yeah, that's blocked off from the 24th, possibly the 23rd through the 28th for that filming trip. So looking forward to that. Won't be able to do a meetup then, but we will be doing a meetup in around Charleston, South Carolina. So we'll have details for that. And again, we're going to try to do it small to start with, something that's manageable for Carrie and I while we're there, since we don't have help. So yeah, okay, let's see. There's a meetup in the Indy area. Who's your carnivore putting to? Yeah, man, I wish I could go to that one. Brett's an awesome dude, and yeah, the steaks that he cooked up at Carrie's was, whew, man, those were delicious. I don't think I can even make a steak that good. Hi, Robin, how you doing? Good to see you. Alia, how you doing? You're listening. I love you. Let's see. Andy says, no worries. Can't wait to hear about your exploits. Absolutely. Yeah, so everybody, I really appreciate you joining me here. It's kind of impromptu. If you got any questions for me, shoot them in the chat. TD says, hi from San Diego. How you doing? I can imagine what your weather's like there, but if I ask, it's probably going to be rainy or something like that. But odds are it's great weather down there. So I can't wait to get back to San Diego. I went there for a business trip once, and the weather was absolutely incredible. It was amazing. So I definitely want to get back to San Diego. So I don't know if I would want to live there because the cost of living seems to be a little expensive. But hey, if I'm making 10 times the amount of money that I'm making, maybe I can afford it. Ali says, who wants to come to Columbia for a meetup? Hey, let's do it. As long as there's no chicken feet. I don't want to do chicken feet, Alia. So if you can somehow work in where I can get a steak, I'll do a meetup in Columbia. Yeah, TD says they have amazing weather. Today is the high of 60. Okay, that's pretty good. I don't even know what it is here in Dayton. It says 42. So yeah, you got one up on me for sure in terms of temperature. It's kind of cold. Robin says she'd like to go to Columbia. Yeah, that would be really cool. Get a maybe we can rent a boat and get down there. So how do you even get to Columbia, Alia? Andy says, any further improvements to your vitiligo? There is not yet. So I haven't had much sun, so that's maybe playing a part in it as well. So I'm hoping that as the sun comes out, obviously I'm gonna try to not wear a shirt and wear as short of shorts as I can without getting arrested to try to get as much sun as I can. But yeah, I think that will definitely help out, and that will also let me know if the situation is improving. So I don't think that our skin. Well, I mean, some people naturally have more melanin in their skin than others, but yeah, mine seems to be more sensitive to sun, so I get more. I look more Indian in color, I guess, as I get a tan, and yeah, so we'll see. Once the sunlight hits it, we'll see what happens in terms of that. Let's see. What and Kay says, what and how much do you eat in a day? Beef, eggs, butter, etc. Right now, I am 100% lion diet. So I am, let's see, drinking water, Ice Mountain, usually one of the better waters that I like. Salt and beef, that's it. Literally, I'll eat a steak or I'll eat ground beef or chuck roast, something like that. If I'm not getting enough fat, then I will chop up some ribeye fat that I get from my butcher, fry that up and eat it. I'll either fry it in a cast iron skillet or put that in the air fryer if I'm just wanting to do it real quick. I'll put my steak in the air fryer and then put some fat chunks on top of the steak and let it fry with it. Yeah, that part of the steak doesn't really get brown, but I don't care. I'm all about quick, easy, dirty, not spending any mental energy on food preparation, because food for me is not, it's not a joyous experience. I mean, it is. If you're eating a ribeye or tomahawk, oh my gosh, it's heavenly. It's almost a religious experience. But So yeah, for me, food is just nutrients. It's just something that I got to do, get it over with, and move on to the next thing. I've got so much more things that I want to do in my life, and it doesn't involve food. Food's just not exciting to me. So yeah, that's a little bit about my diet. Ali says you can take Spirit for 80 bucks and 11 hours, or 570 bucks, 700 bucks, and 3-hour flights. Okay, well that's not bad. Maybe. Do you plan to return to see Maggie and her husband? That's a good question. Um, we do. I mean, we would like to get a little bit more B-roll footage of Maggie and getting a little bit more kind of walk and talk. There were some issues that we had with mics and being mic'd up. So I would like to go back and do it. So it really just depends on the budget and how that goes. Ollie says I do plan on seeing them. I'm about 5 hours away. Okay, cool. Robin is invited. Okay, hopefully we're invited. Let's see. So I want to ask everybody, how does my audio sound? This is a new DJI mic that I bought, and just kind of testing it out with connecting to my cell phone to see, is it low, is it high, is the volume sound good to everybody? Let's see. Art says 14-year-old son has vitiligo. So yeah, Art, it did actually start to reverse with me, and then it kind of halted, and I don't know why. Found out that I had a histamine intolerance, and I started cutting egg whites out, and then eggs altogether, and making sure that I'm not eating smoked meats, things like this to try to help that situation. Um, so maybe that's something to explore with your son as well. The great thing about vitiligo is it's not painful, at least for me. It's just more of a vanity thing. Let's see. Andy says, me too for tanning. I get dark. Yeah, I get dark as well. Sometimes people think that I am a different race of person, but really I'm human race. I don't even care what I am. I'm a mutt, I guess. Carnivore Scott, how you doing? Good to see you. I see you doing a lot of those lives. At one of these points, I'm going to have some time to jump on and join you. Chop it up and discuss everything carnivore. Let's see, how much salt do you eat in a day? I was having diarrhea for weeks and realized I was overdoing it. Once I cut back on the salt, I was cured. So that's one thing that I don't think that it's possible for me to overdo. I guess I could, but I keep this in my office. So Maldon salt, and I'm out of the smoked Maldon salt, and then I have Redmond's real salt in the top. So I literally will, if I have any kind of a craving or I'm hungry or anything like that, I'll just take a little pinch of that Maldon and eat that, and usually will help. But sometimes I go a little bit overboard and having too much of the salt, and it actually will give me indigestion. So yeah, I try to not overdo it too much on the salt, but I haven't had diarrhea or anything like that. I have had that when I overdo it with electrolytes in terms of magnesium. So the magnesium citrate will cause me to have the diarrhea, but the magnesium malate does not do that, but sometimes that'll make me a little bit more sleepy. So really, it's just hit or miss on what is working and what isn't, and just listening to your body. That's key for me, is just listening to your body and what it's telling you. Sometimes it can be a little annoying, especially if you have autoimmune conditions like I do, because it kind of seems like it's all over the map. Let's see. BAA 713, where do you prefer to buy your beef in Dayton? So I'd go to Evans Family Ranch. They have grass-fed, grass-finished beef. I'll definitely buy my beef fat there for sure, because they say toxins are stored in the fat. So if that animal did have toxins, it's good to have grass-fed, grass-finished. So potentially you don't have the pesticides and things like that. That's an issue. And to be honest with you, I don't really worry about that stuff too much, because I think that, yes, nutrition plays a role in your health and your physical health, but also it's here. Like, what's in between here is so much more important, in my opinion. Your beliefs that you hold. Like if you are so worried about microplastics or glyphosate and all these things, you're just really causing yourself issues that could potentially cause issues in the nutrition area as well too, where you're causing so much stress that you may potentially block vitamin and nutrient absorption. So you got to be careful in your mind and what you're thinking and what you let in and what you let go of. So that's very important. So anyways, that's off on a little bit of a tangent. So yeah, Evans Family Ranch, and I go to Sam's Club a lot. So yeah, I know it's not grass fed, grass finished. I actually prefer grain finished beef, the flavor of it. It's much better flavor in my opinion than the grass fed. The grass fed has a little bit more of a gamey, more maybe like mineral content type flavor. Let me know in the comments if you think that too. So I actually prefer the grain finished. So Sam's Club, and then if I really need to get something quick, it's usually Walmart because they usually carry the same beef that Sam's Club does. If I just need to pop in real quick and grab a ribeye or a strip steak or something, because I didn't pre-plan and pull the steak out of the freezer, which happens quite often. Let's see, Carnivore Scott, by the way, all the cool kids are smashing the like button. Let's show some love. Absolutely, Scott. I love you, brother. Scott says, question, what camera is that in the background? So I'm not sure which one you're talking about. So well, this is a tripod that we have for the documentary. It's video head. Very expensive tripod that we got. So we had a stable platform for and smooth motion with filming. That tripod was about $1,000, but it should last us the entire duration of the documentary. We actually have 2 of those. Very important to have a stable platform for doing this whole entire project. So especially from a professional aspect. So we don't have the intention of keeping any of this stuff. Once that project is done, then we'll liquidate these items and try to put that money to good use in terms of the documentary and reaching more people. Let's see. K Day says, what are the benefits you notice from the lion diet versus BBB and eggs? Thanks. So the benefits that I noticed, I didn't think it was actually possible to increase the mental clarity and how I actually felt from BBB and E, because it's so profound going from, I was vegan for 2 years before going carnivore. So, and I did it in the worst possible way. So these proponents of the vegan diet, I don't know how they get away with saying how wonderful it is. It might be good as an elimination diet or something like that, but my health was failing on the vegan diet. My vitiligo got worse. The brain fog was insane. The hunger, it was just hard to control the hunger and be satisfied, and still having all these issues and autoimmune issues with the vegan diet. Yeah, it was good in terms of eliminating things, but in terms of nutrient, I don't have a ruminant gut. I can't extract the nutrients from the plants like these animals can. So, I'm forever thankful to them for that. So I did notice a difference in mental clarity. I noticed a difference in energy levels. And on top of that, just mentally, it's less that I have to prepare for. I don't have to worry about cracking eggs and, getting a chunk of the eggshell in my food and then having to deal with that. Not that that's a big deal, but that's always a pain. You're like, oh my gosh, where'd it go? Especially if you're trying to cook them, trying to get the eggshell out. Just little things like that. Not having to worry about anything in terms of food, just beef, salt, water, super simple, get it done, get it over with, get your nutrients, move on with life. So that's the benefit that I've seen mainly with that. In terms of nutrient deficiency or sufficiency, I don't know. I haven't had blood work done yet to this point. So that's something that I'm looking at getting done soon, is the blood work. I know a lot of people have this issue with, oh, it's going to cause a heart attack. It's going to cause this or cause that, or you're going to get scurvy or whatever. You're going to be deficient. So personally, I do feel like I am deficient nutritionally just because I've had this histamine intolerance for so long that I just now been able to pinpoint and sort of iron out. And now I think that I am taking a supplement, which is grass-fed beef liver. So actually, these ancestral supplements, grass-fed beef liver capsules. So apparently it's just beef liver that they flash froze and then freeze dried, powdered up and put into capsules. So I noticed that my hair actually started coming in a little bit thicker. It started to curl like crazy. I've always had really thin and straight hair my entire life, and that is somewhat of a sign of nutrient deficiency with some people. So I did notice a elevation in my mood and things like that too when I started to incorporate the liver pills. So because some people have issues with nutrient absorption with a autoimmune condition, supplementing sometimes can help to regenerate those cells and kickstart your mitochondria to doing the right thing and replacing those bad cells with good cells. So there is benefit to supplementation with some people, and I've definitely seen a benefit in that as well. So I don't know if I got too much off on a tangent there and didn't answer the question. Let's see. Alia's got to get back to work. She'll be listening. Thank you so much, Alia. Scott says, hi, Robin. How you doing? Hi, Alia. Audio's good for me. Cool, cool. Everyone is invited. Audio's fine. Cool. Sound great. Awesome. JJ Cooper, hello from East Tennessee. How you doing, JJ? Andy says, I can hear you fine, but might be a little low for some. Okay. That's probably just me. I probably just need to speak up a little bit. I tend to do that, and people are like, huh? What'd you say? Let's see. Jeanette says, sounds great. Robin, are you cooking your meat? Are you cooking your meat from frozen? I am not, and that's something that I definitely want to explore, especially after talking to Rebecca. And my latest interview on my channel with Angela that had 30 years of Lyme disease issues and all these other co-infections and autoimmune conditions that she healed with the carnivore diet. She essentially did billy doe meats as well, eating lamb and cooking from frozen, and that seemed to help her too. So there's definitely something to that, and I definitely am going to try that out as an experiment. JJ says, hi, Scott. Yeah, it's pretty nice. Spring and snowing here today. LOL. Yeah. Scott says, have you seen where you can make flake salt at home? No, I haven't. That would be interesting to do because I'm more of a DIY kind of a guy, I always have been. So a little bit of history about me is I actually went to trade school in high school so that I could avoid public speaking. So speech class was a requirement for high school. And I was so mortified of getting up in front of people and doing exactly what I'm doing right now that I actually went to trade school and went to electronics for in trade school so that I could avoid going to speech class. And that was a godsend because I definitely wasn't ready for that. I wish I had the carnivore diet back then because I probably wouldn't have these anxiety issues. But I had anxiety like really, really bad. So yeah, through that experience with electronics, we did a lot of VCR repair, TV repair for people probably don't even know what a VCR is nowadays. But yeah, we did a lot of that kind of work. And as students, people could bring in to the trade school stuff for repair that we could practice on. So I got a lot of practice at DIY, tearing stuff apart, learning how things work, and getting things fixed. And then from there, I went into special machine building. And we worked on machines that would build nuclear bomb switches, bomb diffusing robots, machines that would make the wafers for IBM chips, Intel Pentium processors. We'd have machines, a whole assembly lines that would have 50 different cells that would actually, create a Pentium chip, which was insane to even think of now, of all the different things that I've worked on in the past. I've worked on canning equipment for Coors and brake pad machines for BMW. So a lot of that, my experience with that stuff was actually building those machines in the sense of controls and automation, which is, wiring, DC wiring, AC wiring, high voltage, low voltage, communications, hydraulics, pneumatics, all these different control systems. Not necessarily so much on the mechanical side, although I did move into the mechanical area as well and did some machining, did welding, things like that. And I did that for over 20 years. And through all of that experience, I actually was able to land a controls engineering position with all that experience. And that was pretty fulfilling until our company got bought out by a German company, which it's a great company, but I got moved more into the technical writing aspect of controls engineering, and they wanted all of these manuals for these machines, and I had to spearhead this project. I just kind of got moved into it, really didn't care to do that sort of a thing. It's kind of boring. So I'm working with programming HMIs and programming the machines and just getting into the nitty gritty with specifics on how to do all this stuff, and it was kind of boring. So that's when I branched out, started doing photography on the side, and was actually able to support myself and launch a full-time photography business, and did that full-time starting 10 years ago, but I started the photography business 15 years ago. So I've been in photography ever since. Long story short, sorry Scott, to go off on a rabbit trail on that. So yes, I do like to do DIY stuff, and I'd really like to learn how to do that, make the salt at home. That would be really sweet. I don't know, do you have any videos on that? Something you can send me maybe? Let's see, TD says, first time I heard that, almost all magnesium will cause a looseness of sores, some more than others. Yep, I experienced that. JJ says, question, what would be the best salt / electrolytes that can be store-bought? That's interesting. I would stay away from table salt because sometimes they put sugar in the table salt, or they'll put some sort of anti-caking agent in there. So I'm not sure if you could actually buy Redmond's in the store. I've actually just bought it online. I would think that you'd probably be fairly safe with the pink Himalayan salts. Just try to, if it does have like some organic rating or something like that on there, maybe try to look for something like that. Personally, I like the Maldon salt. Man, once I went to Maldon, it's like, I don't even know what Redmond salt is anymore. D. Lee, I was having a lot, teaspoons per day. Robin says, got to run to a meeting. Thanks so much for stopping by, Robin. I appreciate you. Sam's Club ribeyes are the best. Yes, they're very good. Great seeing you. It was good seeing you too, Robin. Hello from Ottawa. Okay, nice. Winter Lion, very cool name. Grass-fed, grass-finished doesn't taste as good. Yeah, I don't think so either. Nice tripod. Is that a Manfrotto? Yes, Scott, that's a Manfrotto Nitrotech 608 head, ball head. So you can actually adjust the how level it is here, so you don't have to screw around with adjusting the legs to try to get how level it is, which is really, really nice. You can kind of get it close to where you need, and then it has a little bubble level with a light built into that head. And yes, it has like nitrous oxide or something like that internal into the gas piston that allows for fluid movement. So really, really nice head with that. And actually, I got this down here too that you guys might want to check out. So we picked up the DJI Ronin gimbal, and this is going to allow us to do a lot of cool things. Actually has locks on each axis. So basically what this does is you'll actually mount your camera on here, get everything balanced, plug everything in. This has what's called the Raven Eye. So you can actually see on the screen here, you'll be able to actually see, what you're filming on the camera, and you can actually like select the subject, and then you can move around the subject and it locks on. It essentially uses like AI. So you can keep that person in the frame. So you can do things like a jib shot where you're going high to low, and it'll stay locked on, and you don't have to manually move this joystick to try to keep them in the frame, and it keeps the footage nice and smooth. We got the external handles to keep things more stable. If you don't, it just basically comes with, the tripod, which also acts as a handle, and then you hold everything in the center, and so you have to bring everything to the center with your arms, and it's going to be like, I don't know, it works, but it's not comfortable. So because of how much filming we're doing and how, that sort of thing, doing all day, having this stance is actually better and going to help out a lot more. So yeah, this is going to be able to, we haven't had a chance to use it yet. We will. I'm filming Carrie here next week, and then at the end of the month, we're going down southeast, and we'll get a chance to use this. So this will be the third camera setup, especially during interviews. We're going to have 2 on the subject, and then this is going to be roaming around the room to capture that. So that's the gimbal. Let's see. TD says I was probably doing nearly 2 tablespoons a day because I was craving salt so much. Maybe I was just depleted after years of low. Yeah, that could be very well the truth, TD. I probably eat at least 2 tablespoons a day. The entire cutting board is literally coated in salt. It's pretty obscene. One of these days I'll actually put that on video for everybody. Let's see. Winter Lion, message retracted. Your mic sounds great, but it's a bit quiet. Okay. Maybe I'll try to move it up closer. See if that works. Okay, we'll try that. See if it helps or not. Not sure. Okay. Karen says hello. How you doing, Karen? Good to see you. Hello, everyone from West Texas. Jay Ayers, how you doing? Carney Nana, cool name. Andy says, have you gotten into sprinting? Can't believe I can easily do that at 54. Yeah, so that's interesting. Exercise to me is a 4-letter word, or it always has been ever since I turned 18 and started working 55 hours a week minimum in that special machine building industry. I just didn't have time for it, and then got married, had a kid, and yeah, that was it for me. Just wasn't really a priority. But it's interesting that you bring that up because I never really was into sprinting, and so during the 24-hour live stream, that was the first time that I tried sprinting because we had been like 18 hours in, and I'm like trying to keep myself awake and keep myself, engaged and not falling asleep. So I would pause my camera and run from, where I was doing the filming, which is in an outbuilding. It's a large shed that we have that's insulated and heated and cooled. So I would run from that shed to the house and back, literally just sprint like 20 or 30 times. And then we'd do another 30 minutes or so, and then I'd pause the camera and come back out and do those sprints again. It was actually kind of fun. I'm like, man, I don't feel the jiggle, I don't feel everything jiggling when I tried to sprint before when I was out of shape and so much heavier. TD says, Jay Ayers, I'm coming your way this weekend for the eclipse next week. Oh, very cool. Yeah, that's a big thing that's going on. Aldi has grass-fed, grass-finished strip steaks and sometimes ribeyes. Flavor is not as good as grain-fed. Seems tougher as well. Yeah, I do find that as well from what my experience. The stuff from Aldi just didn't taste quite right. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Carnivore Scott says, I grew up in El Paso, stationed in Abilene, West Texas. Okay, awesome. Check out Dr. Osborne. He explains the tests and nutrients needed while on the carnivore diet. Thanks. Yes, Kay. Dr. Osborne has a lot of good information, and he seems to be quite the proponent of the carnivore diet as well. There's Holly. Hey, how you doing, Holly? You may want to try, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Quercetin, quercetin, maybe. I don't know. I'm probably butchering that, to help even more with the histamine issues. Yeah, okay, I'll definitely have to look into that. Let me make a note of that. And then I'll try to look up how to pronounce that word so I don't sound so stupid. Awesome TD, Carnivore Scott. I am in San Angelo, Texas, though a few blocks from Goodfellow Air Force Base. Very cool. Yeah, I actually live not far from Wright Pat Air Force Base. Very close. So we're kind of like a community, essentially, of a lot of veterans that live in or that work at the base. Let's see. Carnivore Scott says, I will look up the video and post a link soon. Cool, thank you. K-Day says, Dr. Osborne on YouTube did a video a few days ago explaining the carnivore diet, why it works, the nutrients missing and needed, and the labs to have tested frequently to assure health. I did see that he posted that, but I haven't watched it yet. I forget what video I just watched it is, but yeah, I love his stuff. He really gets into the geek and science of things, which I do like. I don't like really doing that myself in terms of content, but I like consuming it. Again, I was more of a DIY and engineer type myself. Let's see. J. Ayer says, gotta run. Have a good day, y'all. Yes. Thanks for stopping by, Jay. Appreciate you. I will look into that, Karen. Thanks. Let's see. Some more conversation. Element that helped. Once I did business development for a company that designs and builds embedded controls. Oh, nice. Yeah, I have a lot of experience with controls. It was a big part of my life. D. Lee says, Adam, I hope you put this live on replay. I don't even know how to do that. I didn't even know this was a thing, shorts in this vertical format, until Carrie did it. And I thought, yeah, let's just jump on here and see what happens. And then, we'll refine it from here. Whole Foods carries Redmond's. Okay, very cool. Good tip, Scott. Sprouts Farmers Market sells Redmond's salt. Okay. Do you have a link to the salt you use? It's funny. I have a link to just about everything I use except for the salt in my descriptions. But yeah, I'll add that. But you can just go to Amazon and type in Maldon salt. Just make sure whenever you're buying anything on Amazon, this is a tip for everybody if you don't know this. Make sure that you're buying, it'll say like sold by. Make sure as much as possible, unless it's some unique thing, make sure that you buy the thing that's sold by the actual company or sold by Amazon. Because I've been burned quite a few times buying a product from some independent seller, because you can kind of do like what's called retail arbitrage. So let's say, for instance, you find a listing for grass-fed beef liver and you find a better price on it, and maybe it's way better, and you're like, oh, I can't pass that up. This is an awesome deal. Make sure you look at the seller, because these people sometimes, they'll buy this stuff in bulk and just list it on there under their store. And, sometimes the stuff is old. Like, or just an old batch, or it's not sealed, or I don't know, just something not right about it. So I've run into issues with that. So just make sure that you buy from either the manufacturer or from Amazon, especially when it comes to supplements and stuff like that. Don't buy from these third-party folks unless you actually can trust them. Yeah, so that's a little bit of a tip there on that. Thank you, Adam. Have a wonderful day. God bless. JJS. Thank you so much, JJ. Appreciate you. Manfrotto makes good stuff. Yep. Let's see. What else? If anybody has any questions for me, go ahead and post them in the chat, and I'll try to make sure I get those answered for you. Is anybody struggling with anything right now? I'm not currently struggling with anything other than just trying to figure out the histamine thing with me, and just trying to get my histamine bucket to stop overflowing. I think I've got it pretty close, and then that will allow things to start healing. Kay says grass-finished beef does taste the best, but grain-finished does taste the best, but grass-finished is best nutritionally. I can't stand the gamey taste of grass-finished beef either. Yeah, I'd rather take a supplement with the nutrients and just eat grain-finished, as long as it's not doing anything bad to my health, but I can't believe that it is. Let's see. BAA 713, do you know of any functional physician / low-carb carnivore physician in the surrounding Dayton area? I wish I could help here, and interesting that you bring this up, because Carrie and I are starting a membership website for all of our followers, subs, and and the larger area in the space. And that's one of the things that we're definitely going to make sure that we have inside that group, is a huge resource that goes along with the paid membership for physicians that are low carb and carnivore. We believe that's very important. Even though I don't go to the doctor that much because I'm fairly healthy. I always have been. I've had flu-like symptoms once since I have been an adult, and I've never had a jab. So take it or leave it. To each their own, and more power to you. If it works for you, that's great. I'm not here to say whether you should or shouldn't do something like that, but I've never had anything like that, and I've never had that illness. So yeah, it's important for us to put people in contact and connection with these people. So that's going to be somewhat of a big project. And then also butchers and things like that. We want to have that resource in there as well. And those may be part of the free tier. We're not sure. We're still trying to hash some of that stuff out, but it costs a lot of money, thousands and thousands of dollars, to set up this membership site and do it right. We want to do it right. There's others out there that we find are a little bit more problematic. So there is going to be a membership fee for something like that, and that's going to help cover income for our team that's actually devoted to helping everyone in this community, as well as everything above and beyond that's going to go straight to the documentary. So the documentary is going to cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and we've raised close to 150,000 already, and we're super appreciative of that. But we still have a road to hoe in regards to that. So hopefully, if we can provide value with this membership site, with things like the doctors and courses and stuff like that, as well as a really cool community and app that will be able to help things along. Joel says, Ohio Carnivore here. How you doing, Joel? Good to see you. Sprint jiggles are the worst. Exactly. Yeah. Sometimes I wish I would have photographed and filmed myself more being heavier, because I'm 80 pounds down, but I feel like I'm a million pounds down. I feel so much better. Let's see. Does anybody else primarily just eat ground beef? 90% of my diet is ground beef because of convenience and cost. I had been doing that for a while, but there is more histamine in ground beef because there's more surface area, and the histamine comes from the bacteria eating the protein and converting it to histamine. So if there's more surface area, that means that there is going to be a higher histamine content. So I've tried to steer away from ground beef, at least for the time being, and go with more ribeye and chuck roast. And yes, it is more expensive, but I am adding in the fat, so I don't have to have as much of the ribeye and chuck roast. So it's more satiating. Let's see. Can't eat beef from Aldi. I get ill every time. Ooh, that's not good, D. Lee. Yeah, I agree. I was buying that at the beginning because it was cheap, but just kind of naturally just shied away from it just because of the flavor. Mostly ground beef for me. Beef is beef. Yep, absolutely. Yeah, when I can tolerate the ground beef, you know, I usually, I mean, in the past I couldn't really deal with ground beef because it was just like eating a hamburger with nothing on it. It was kind of gross. But now I figured that salt is the key. So for every pound of ground beef, if I added a tablespoon of salt, or maybe just a little bit less, it made it more palatable for me. So if somebody's out there and they don't think that ground beef is that palatable, maybe try adding some salt to it, and that'll help things out. Some people actually will brown a little bit of butter and put in the ground beef as well if you can handle dairy. I don't do dairy. Let's see. Kay says, great Amazon tip because I've gotten some terrible things like supplement. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, you just got to be careful on there. I've fallen victim to it myself. Uh, let's see. Good tip. Thanks. I'm driving, so can't chat. Sandra, how you doing, Sandra? Good to see you. God bless you all. God bless you too. Appreciate you. The seller and manufacturer on Amazon. Great tip. Yeah, that's. I wish that wasn't the case that they allowed that arbitrage. That it actually had to be like a separate site or something because it is pretty deceptive almost. But you know, Amazon does really provide a great service, even though some of their beliefs and dogma might be a little off from mine. They sure are convenient with what they provide. So I'm a proponent of what they do, just maybe not their ideology. Rebecca, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see, Christopher Mares. Thank you for helping people with information. This is awesome. I'm 3 months into carnivore, and it's been life changing for me. Oh, I love hearing this stuff. And especially so early in because it is so exciting. And typically, you know, you don't really have many people around you that's even doing this sort of a thing. You know, we're kind of outliers in the diet space. You know, we have a lot more courage, I think, than some people because the narrative is that you're going to have a heart attack or you're going to get scurvy or uh, you know, just all kinds of issues with this diet. So yeah, I'm glad to hear that you're doing well, Christopher. Yeah, keep us updated for sure. Jeanette says, I'm struggling with feeling better, but I'm working towards carnivore. Okay, well, sorry to hear that you're struggling, Jeanette. You know, I do feel like, at least in my experience, I feel like carnivore really helped. So if you're struggling with feeling better, maybe try to eliminate as much as you can and go really hardcore as much as possible and maybe focus more on the ruminant meats if you're not focusing on that. I don't know exactly what you're eating, but maybe focus on just the ruminant meats. And and dairy can be troublesome for some people too. So just, you know, I don't like the word hack, but you know, at least just try to experiment with what you're eating, go all the way to elimination, maybe even potentially a lion diet like I'm doing, and use that as a baseline. You don't have to do it forever. Maybe do it for 2 weeks or do it for 30 days. But I think you should probably do it at least 2 weeks because I didn't really notice benefits on the lion diet in terms of heightened mental clarity and things like that until almost 2 weeks into it. So, yeah, your version of whatever you're doing may not be working for you. Might be what you're comfortable with, but just experiment. The doctors aren't going to suggest anything like that. So see what works for you and go from there. And if you don't like doing the lion diet, move on to whatever whatever floats your boat, whatever works for you. You know, it's your life, and you know, nobody's here to tell you what to do, so you got to take control. D. Lee says, thanks for the purchasing tip. Absolutely, for sure, D. Lee. Appreciate you for being here. Dawn says, day 3, Lion Diet, hard than I thought was doing, harder than I thought of was doing BB&E, but carb were creeping in. Yeah, that's the thing. Those carbs, man. I'm not really a proponent of ketovore or keto, although it may work for some. It doesn't work for me. Once I start having those carbs and it turns to sugar, it literally just starts the craving process all over again. And it's really, at that point, I don't think it's so much of a physical addiction. It starts the mental addiction to the carbs because you remember that feeling of smashing those rolls, you know, at Texas Roadhouse with the cinnamon butter. Sorry to trigger anybody, but yeah, I agree. So keep going, Dawn. Let me know how that goes, and yeah, keep us updated. Scott says, "Got to run. Take care of it." Appreciate you, Scott, for being here. It's good to see you too. One Hope says, Sandra says, no jab for me either, and I do try to sway people away from that toxic jab. Yeah, so along those lines, you know, like I said, I think that a lot of what people struggle with is mental, and the carnivore diet helps to unblock things in the mental area. So I think that for some, if you do get the jab or things like that, and then you listen to these horror stories and things like that, potentially some of that could be true, but I think you may bring on some illness and some stress and things like that into your life by believing everything that is put out there in regards to this stuff. So I'm more of a proponent of take control of your thought process. You know, you are in charge of what you think. You are in charge of your reaction. And, you know, just dispel this stuff from the get-goes. You know, maybe it did cause harm to your body, but you're not going to let it cause harm to your mind. And that is powerful in helping to someone heal and recover. So if somebody did get the jab and they do, and I don't want to get a flagged for this on YouTube with this subject, but if somebody feels like they did, you know, bring harm on themselves, yeah, obviously pay attention to that and dig into it, potentially with blood work and things like that if you're really having issues. But don't get bogged down mentally with it. Um, you know, believe that your body wants to heal, and it's doing absolute everything that it can to heal. Just give it the nutrients that it needs in order to heal. We don't have to tell ourselves to breathe. We don't have to tell our blood to pump. We don't have to tell our nerves to react. It all does this automatically. And a lot of us have experienced this when once we go on the carnivore diet, our body just heals itself. So just know that, you know, things like that, if you are worried about what it may have cost you, the worrying itself may cause more damage than the actual damage from that. So just be conscious of that and pay attention to what you're doing in your mind. Joel says, thank you. I was unaware of the histamine content in ground beef. Yeah, and it also depends histamine content with how long you leave it in the fridge after you've cooked it. So histamine content will rapidly increase if you don't freeze it, because that bacteria is at a temperature that it can still continue to keep producing that histamine. So that's one thing to look out for as well. K-Day says, oh, she's got a question for Rebecca. D says, yes, I'm struggling now. I'm eating sugar again. I first did beef, eggs, and water only and did great. Ever since a family gathering, I've been eating sugar again. It's so hard for me to give up sugar. Well, D, you know, I'm in your corner. It happened to me many times in the past, and just know that you know you haven't fallen off the wagon. You know the truth, and you know what you need to do to get back to where you want to be. So It's really just a matter of, like Nike says, just do it, right? Just do the thing. You're in control. You're in charge, and yeah, I mean, sorry, I'm just looking at another comment here. So yeah, a lot of it comes down to your why also. So why for me started as a selfish reason. I wanted to reverse vitiligo, my autoimmune condition. And it since has evolved from there. And now my why is I want to be an example for other people, um, to what is possible. And not that, I'm all that and I'm high and mighty and I'm so much better at doing things than other people. I want to be an example for others and know that there is a better way for doing this thing here on planet Earth while we're here and to get healthy. So maybe examine your why, like why did you do the carnivore diet to begin with, and reconnect with that. Another good why is to be an example for your family and your friends so that they can improve their health. And when that happens, you're not only improving the things around you, improving your own world and your own life, but you're also improving the world at large. Um, so, things like the violence that we see on the news and stuff like that, I think a lot of that derives from mental health. And mental health can be drastically improved with the carnivore diet. So, maybe just explore different ideas in terms of your why and why you originally started to do it and reconnect with that. Andy says ground beef is much better rare or medium rare. I'll have to try that. I've been going more on the like cooking some of it crispy, just because it added a little bit more flavor. But maybe I'll try that. Uh, Lamb Daba says ground beef is better raw. Interesting. I'll have to try that. I think there's some sort of a dish that's, I forget what it's called, but it's raw ground beef. Arlene says, "Hi Adam, how you doing, Arlene? Appreciate you." Um, let's see. Lambdava says it helps to fully integrate that sugar self-harm like alcohol. Yeah, absolutely. That's a good point. So I look at sugar as poison. You're looking at somebody that, during the pandemic, I thought, man, this is a really good idea to start to make alcohol. um, so I didn't have to spend as much money. And like what Carnivore Scott had said earlier about making your own salt, I'd like to DIY things. So I went all in and started to make mead because I like fantasy, the fantasy genre and things like that. Game of Thrones, Dungeons and Dragons, Stranger Things, anything that's fantasy really. I really like that because you can kind of escape from reality with those sorts of things. So I lost my train of thought here. Sorry, folks. But so, anyways, in terms of looking at sugar as self harm, alcohol is definitely in that area. And I got rid of all the mead making equipment. Mead goes along with the fantasy stuff. That's what I was trying to get at. And Vikings and pirates and that sort of thing. So I thought it was kind of cool making different flavors and whatnot. But now, I completely 100% abstain from alcohol. I think it's much easier on the carnivore diet to not have those types of addictions. So if anybody's listening has an addiction to sugar or alcohol, I have friends that actually had addictions to gambling that the carnivore diet has helped them in this regard. That's Todd Bachnes with the Carnivore Cure. So go check out some of his content as well. And yeah, especially in terms of addiction. So he's done a lot with relieving his addictions. But yes, you have to look at sugar as poison. It's something that's totally processed. It's not natural. There's sugar in some plants and things like that, but that's a lot more of a natural source of sugar. It's not this highly potent and addictive on purpose processed sugar that we have, high fructose corn syrups and table sugar and stuff like that. So I do personally look at alcohol as poison. Actually, a long time ago, 100 years ago, they would actually put, skull and crossbones on a bottle of alcohol. Like, this is poison. Um, you may be able to use it in certain instances for certain things, but by and large, not something that you should ever consume recreationally, or to optimize your health, or just to have fun. Can have lasting effects. So yeah, that's a good point, Lamdaba. Thanks for the tips. I love experimenting for sure. Yep, me too. Let's see. Christina says air fryer meatballs with salt, cheese. If it's for my grandchildren, I dip them in a bunch of butter for breakfast with hard boiled eggs and salmon. Snack on them throughout the day. Oh, nice. Very cool. For those, yeah, that's a good tip for those that love to snack and things like that. Let's see. Good morning to the Baroness of Beef. Cool name. Uh, you can become what you think about. Good mental health advice. Yeah, absolutely. You absolutely can. Carnivore's Healthy Wander 360. Beef tartar. That's it, Lemdava. That's what I was thinking of. Beef tartar. Now I'm caught up in the chat. Woo! Finally, after an hour. Steak tartare, Rebecca says. Yep, I definitely need to try that. But in the past, I probably would have put something like that on crackers or something. Can't do that now. I can, but let me say this. So this is kind of a carnivore Q&A, impromptu, live, not really knowing what I want to talk about. So in the past, I have actually, had grains, and I did it purposely. I was having electrolytes, and I started to have leg cramps, and I couldn't understand what was going on. So for whatever reason, I got this harebrained idea to eat rolls, to eat bread and grains in order to, because it's carbohydrates, right? The word hydrate is in there and it'll help you retain water. So I thought, well, let me just experiment, eat some rolls, and see if that has any effect on helping me retain water. Like maybe the next night, the leg cramps and stuff wouldn't be as bad. And I'll tell you this, it not only really didn't help me, but it caused sort of like constipation, like an acute constipation, where I felt sick to my stomach, like I was going to throw up or something, like a couple days later. And things just weren't as regular as they were before. So I don't really suggest doing that. So let me be the experiment. Some people may be able to handle that, but I've been on the Lion diet and the BBB&E for so long that my body just wasn't ready to have those grains in there. So yeah, let's see. Sandra says, I love steak tartare. Tartare? I don't know how you pronounce that. Brick Babies Kill Squad. Carnivore diet is raw meat. Cooked meat equals keto diet. I have heard that. I don't get too much into the weeds with that sort of a thing, with labels and stuff like that. I just go with how I feel and how things taste. Maybe one of these days I will actually start eating some raw food. Raw meats, I mean. You can use pork rinds for steak tartare. Yum. Yeah, that's interesting. I have tried the carnivore bread that a lot of people have this recipe, but I learned it from Ketogenic Woman, and I actually took it all the way to carnivore. So it's like 1 cup of pork rinds for every, or 1/2 cup for every 4 eggs. So you just whisk up 4 eggs, 1/2 cup of crushed pork rinds, and 1 tablespoon of butter. And that will create, I think, like 2 to 4 buns on one of those little tiny waffle makers. I can't even remember the name of it right now. I keep wanting to say flip for some reason, but I don't think that's it. But yeah, those are great, especially if you want a hamburger or something and you want something that's like bread. You cook it on there, I think it's like 2 minutes, 15 seconds for each one, and it comes out perfect. And for at least for me, it tastes close enough to bread that it works if you want to have a hamburger like meal for sure. Let's see. Y'all are on an Atkins diet, lol. Yeah, I actually did the Atkins diet back in the day. But the induction phase was the most important part. And then they're like, oh, you can go off the induction phase or you need to for XYZ reasons. I don't remember. I read that book so long ago. And now I realize that the induction phase is what you need to stay in, essentially. Stay running on those ketones. Brick Baby's Kill Squad says you have to eat raw meat to be carnivore. Cooked meat is keto or Atkins. You're just eating mean. I'm thinking he means just meat. Lion diet, LO. Lions eat raw meat. You must. Yeah, for sure. I know my cats. My cats are 100% carnivore. I didn't have to convince them either. They love raw meat, and they're thriving on it. Arlene says, I drink water when I have cramps, and I saw that on Dr. Chafee's channel. He said to do that because the people were already taking extra electrolytes, and so once in a while at night. Yeah, so interesting you say that, Arlene. So to go back to that, with the cramps, I was drinking like a ton of water because I did find that to be true in the past also. I drink more water, I have less cramps. So, and I am one that has more of an aversion to water. I don't like to really drink as much. So I think my body, at least cravings wise, gets everything that it needs, the moisture from what I'm eating. But I do have to try to force myself to drink more water. But what I did find out that helped in that particular instance was to take magnesium supplement. So I did take a magnesium supplement, and that did fix that. So I think that might have been part of, even though I was taking electrolytes, my body wasn't absorbing it, or I wasn't taking enough magnesium, and that might go hand in hand with the autoimmune stuff that I have. Bricks Baby's Kill Squad says, cringe, real carnivore is raw diet. Well, I appreciate your opinion on that. Let's see. Christy, Meeting Wellness, how you doing? Hello. Oh, Bob, Paul, Pop Eater, Dash. That's it, Dash. I don't know why I was thinking flip is 4-letter word. But yeah, the Dash little waffle maker. It's like a personal waffle maker, and it's literally the exact size of a hamburger bun. And they're super cheap too. They're like $10. Let's see. Lamb Daba. That said, I don't dairy at the moment for reasons, but some A2 butter and ground beef is delicious. Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I love butter. I cut it out because I have an issue with acne, and I have my entire life. And, being a grown ASS man and having acne is somewhat embarrassing, especially when you can't figure out what is causing it. So my skin issues definitely have gotten better, and it mostly improved when I cut out all dairy. Hopefully I can return back to having some here and there without having issues with skin. Let's see, Chaffle Maker, yep. Alia, $2. Wow, thank you so much. We just got a kitten for the kids yesterday. That's awesome. That deserves a heart. Thank you so much for the super chat, Alia. If anybody hasn't gone and checked out Alia's channel, she's got really awesome content. She's a diehard carnivore, yeah, I really enjoy her content. She's done a great job at helping out with the documentary in terms of fundraising, things like that. She's been an integral part, instrumental in helping us getting to that $150,000 raised. So at Alia Wells, go check out her channel for sure and subscribe if you haven't. Really good stuff. And I think she has Live stream coming up with Coach Bronson, if that's correct. Let me know in the chat, Ollie, if that's correct. Let's see. It's hard to see these comments on here because it's like, it's transparent behind it, so it's really hard to. Plus, I can't read up close with my glasses on that well. I have to take my glasses off to read up close. Let's see. Sandra says, question, what raw meat do you feed your cats? I want to get my cat on raw meat, but she's picky. So I do want to come out with a video for this, Sandra, because I do think it's important. Our cats were somewhat unhealthy. They had issues with, digging at hot spots and, itching themselves raw and things like that. And going raw, they're just overall, you can tell they're better. They're more healthy. They're at a healthy weight. The one that had more weight kind of came down in weight to a more natural weight, and the one that was sort of underweight is now he's a lot stronger now. Bruno is, and Ella has lost the little fat bags that jiggle underneath. Those are completely gone for her. So, and they both seem a lot more lively and more chill and mellow. Obviously, they're still cats. They still go crazy and do that sort of thing. But yeah, their diet has helped with the hot spots and no more skin issues and things like that. So to answer your question, we buy our meat from a website called hare today.com. I'm not an affiliate for them. I do believe in their product. The meat comes frozen. We do get the meat that is ground with bones and tripe and organs. And then we put a nutritional supplement in the meat. It's a tiny little scoop. It's like this big, like this. It might be like even less than a teaspoon. But you put one of those in per pound of meat and like 1 cup of water and then a 5-pound bag of meat. And you just mix that all together and then you ounce it out. The way that I do it is my wife is actually doing that tonight, but we trade off of who does it. So it's not so much of a burden, but it doesn't take that long either. So we get the little jelly jars, ball jelly jars, the small ones. And we bought the plastic lids so we can just reuse them over and over and over again. Don't have to deal with those metal lids and rings, and those are so annoying. So we bought, like, I think it's like, when I do the video on this, I'll do a complete breakdown so that people understand why to use glass, because if you put raw meat or any kind of meat in plastic over time and you reuse that over time, little micro cuts and abrasions and things like that, the bacteria can actually get embedded into the plastic. So it's important that you primarily use glass if you're going to reuse. And plus, it's always a good thing for the environment to use less plastic. So use the glass. We do use the plastic cap, but that doesn't really come into contact with the raw meat that's in the container. It's just literally just to seal the container. So we buy the meat from Hare Today, 5-pound bags. We do buy, I think it's like 30 pounds at a time. So we only have to buy like 3 times a year for 2 cats. 3 or 4 times. I don't remember exactly what it is. I'll break all that down for everybody. And it saves on shipping when you package it that way, because they don't have to put like dry ice and stuff like that in it. They can literally just ship the tubes of frozen beef. They have all kinds of meats too, but we use the ground beef for now. And to answer your question, with her being picky, so our cats were also, especially Ella, she was very picky with her food, and she did not want anything to do with the raw meat whatsoever initially. But what we did is we replaced their food in 5% increments. So we started at day one, 100% the dry cat food that we thought was healthy, and grain-free, all that sort of thing. Still had a million ingredients in it. So we actually started it, and then the next day we went to 5%, and we actually ounced it out. So replaced ounce for ounce the dry food with the raw food. So 5% the first day, 10% the next day, 15% the next day, and so on and so forth until we finally got to 100%. And it took, I don't know, maybe a week, 7 days, so maybe up to like 30% before she would even touch the raw meat. But I think it's just because we stuck with it, and she had a little bit of fat to lose. So not eating the raw meat and having a reduced dry food during that time, I think she was finally like, okay, we're going to start eating the raw meat. And now she has no problem with it whatsoever. So that's a little bit of a tip that you might want to try. But there's that hair-today.com. They have tons and tons of resources on there. They have tons of different types of foods. They have rabbit, they have chicken and turkey, and all different other kinds of meats as well that you can put them on. And they say that it is beneficial to, maybe switch to rabbit after 6 months or something like that. And again, you want to do that transition slowly, because that's why a lot of people with carnivore diet have an issue with transitioning so fast, with having keto flu and diarrhea and stuff like that. Animals are no different. So transitioning them slowly helps in that process. And it's probably a better thing to do with them because they can't communicate with you like, oh, I'm feeling bad, or, oh, I got the, obviously you'll be able to tell if they have the runs or something like that, or throwing up. Another tip with that also, Sandra, is there's a product, cod liver oil. Ella can actually have the cod liver oil a little bit put on there, and that's to help with her coat and skin and things like that. Our cats don't use that now because Bruno can't handle the cod liver oil for some reason. So he literally would eat all the food. If it had cod liver oil on it, he would just get sick, and it was like liquid getting sick with raw meat and everything. It was really sad to see because we're like, oh my gosh, we really want to make this change for them and for them to be healthy because they are obligate carnivores. They're not opportunistic omnivores or carnivores. They're obligate carnivores. So we want to make sure that they're eating a natural diet. So he had a problem with the cod liver oil. So we just eliminated it altogether because he would jump over and eat her food if she didn't finish some of it, and then that would still cause a problem. So just be conscious of that if you do run into issues. That was one thing that he was having an issue with. So sorry about all that, everybody. I know it's Carnivore Diet Q&A, but it was Carnivore Diet for our cats, and that's something that I am passionate about. We love our cats. I am a cat lady in the male form. Cats are cool, so, and probably because they're carnivore. Let's see. Hi, Ollie. That kitten is cute. I saw the pic you posted. I haven't even seen that yet, so I'm going to have to check that out. I've been so busy. Do you need supplements on the carnivore diet? Some people do, Tushar. Some people do. I'm one of those that I believe that I did need supplements, and therefore almost a year, I didn't do any supplements, and then I started the grass-fed liver pills, and I did see an improvement in my hair. So, yeah, I do think that I was lacking in that area, and you should probably get blood work done to see if you actually are lacking in nutrients, because even though the meat has all the nutrients, you could have other issues going on in your health that will block the absorption of these nutrients and minerals. And not only that, yes, the meat contains everything that you need. It really depends on the cow and what the cow is eating. So if the soil was depleted that these animals are eating, maybe it only has 80% of the nutrients that it could have. Maybe it only has 50%. You never know. I mean, you can't look at a steak at the store and go, oh, well, that one's full of nutrients. So everybody should probably kind of stay on top of that with blood work. And I know that I'm sort of not the best at suggesting that because I haven't actually had blood work done to this point. But I am going to have that done, and I do want to, have a discussion around that. And if I'm having issues or anything, just kind of put that out there in the community and see if we can break things down and all figure this stuff out together. Because obviously, the medical industry is biased towards getting a well-rounded diet and getting your vegetables and this sort of thing. And this way of eating is definitely not the mainstream, and we need to support one another in trying to figure things out for each other. Let's see. Jarl Iko says, I decided to go on the carnivore diet. Shopping is so easy. Absolutely. Meat, eggs, butter. That's it. I am drinking lemon water, and I think it's okay for digestion. Yeah, absolutely. So this book back here, Dr. Ovadia, Stay Off My Operating Table, he's a proponent of lemon in your water. I don't see an issue with it. If it's working for you, go for it, man. But yeah, the shopping is so easy. And especially for me when I go to like Sam's Club, maybe Walmart has this, I'm not sure, or other stores, but Sam's Club has the app. And if you put your card in there, your debit card or credit card or whatever, you can actually scan your items inside of Sam's yourself. So you don't even have to wait in line. You just walk in, grab the meat you want, scan it on the app, pay for it on the app, show them the QR code when you walk out the door. And I'm literally in and out of Sam's Club sometimes in like 2 minutes. It takes me longer to park and walk in and walk out to the car than it does to actually get what I need in the store. So yeah, it's so much better than wandering around aimlessly and walking through all the addictions and waiting in line at the counter where they've got all these candy bars and pastries and things like that. That's so convenient. They put it there for a reason, because I know people are addicted to that stuff. Let's see. Was wondering, USMC 2111 LSG was wondering what you use to add animal fat to your diet. I've been eating carnivore with 6 eggs in the morning. That's it. I feel I need more fat. How do you get more fat eating carnivore? And this one's a super easy one for me because I just eat fat, literally. And I learned this from going up in Canada and filming the 82-year-old rancher, that Maggie, that has ate a carnivore diet for 65 years. Uh, Carrie and I sat down to breakfast with her, and she literally fried fat, chunks of fat, in a cast iron skillet, and served that to us. And Carrie and I both looked at each other like, just eating fat? That sounds kind of gross, right? But we tried it anyways. We didn't want to be, rude or anything like that. And we eat fat in the steaks, so why not? Let's try it. As long as we put salt on it, man, it was delicious. She kind of browned it a little bit on the outside while the inside was still soft and white. Had a really good taste to it. And yeah, so I would suggest, and it's super cheap. Some butchers will even give you the fat for free. Some of them charge $2 a pound, $1 a pound, $3 a pound. It's super cheap. And most, 50% of your diet should really be coming from fat anyway. So it's really a cheap way also to do the carnivore diet, and get your fat in. So yeah, that's what I suggest. Let's see. Rebecca, hey girl, you can get the trimmings from your butcher if you ask. Yes, Bob, absolutely. Yeah, some of them will even just give it to you. Now, I will kind of give you a tip on this too. Try to stay away from the hard fat. Sometimes the butchers will have like a plethora of different types of fat that you can buy. I would stay away from suet. Suet to me doesn't have a very good flavor. It's okay for rendering to make tallow, but just know that the flavor is not going to be as good as like a ribeye fat. And you can specifically ask for ribeye fat from your butcher too. It's a lot softer and a little bit more flavorful in my opinion. So maybe try that out. Ollie, a $5 super chat. Whoa, look at you. Thank you so much. Ollie says, P.S. I used to be allergic to cats bad, but now no problems. But I think carnivore cured it. That's awesome. I have family members that won't come over here because of the cats, and that's unfortunate. They're missing out on two really cool cats. Not just my wife and I are the cool cats, but we have two cool cats. Yeah, I'll have to bring that up and see if that helps. But thank you so much for the super chat. Um, Ali says she's not been able to stream due to internet issues, so trying to handle today. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, technology, man. I love it, but it can be a problem, definitely. Ali says if it's handled, we'll be doing a live tomorrow. Okay, cool. With Coach Bronson. Love the update from Robin from Hack Your Health. Yeah, that was cool. Really appreciated Robin coming on and doing that with us for Hack Your Health. And I just realized also that we had to register as speakers. Carrie and I did for Hack Your Health, and I believe we're going to be doing some sort of segment there at Hack Your Health. I have to get more details on that. I'm literally so busy doing all this other stuff that, it, to be honest with you, like I brought up earlier, I went to trade school so that I could avoid speech class, a mandatory speech class in high school. So my last 2 years of high school, I went to trade school and earned college credits and things like that, and actually completed almost half of a associate's degree in high school. But I literally did that just to avoid going to speech class. So now, even the possibility that we are speaking at to potentially 2,000 people that's an insane thought. Number one, personally for me, for somebody that had such bad anxiety, I went to a whole nother school to avoid speech class. But what a great opportunity for us to spread the message for healing humanity on that platform. She's just been so gracious and so kind and helpful. And, we're thankful to Robin for what she's allowing us to do on her platform. Let's see. Kay says, me too with the acne from butter. Yeah, I wish that wasn't the case because I love butter. But I'm thinking that it might be tied to the histamine issues. And if I can get, so people that have histamine issues, like Rebecca Heichman that I interviewed, that's on my channel, she actually had mast cell activation syndrome, which is one of the worst histamine autoimmune conditions that somebody can have. And she healed that completely within 1 year. But she had to eat lamb and from Billy Doe Meats, which they harvest the animals and then flash freeze them almost immediately. And then she cooked everything from frozen. And she ate the lamb because lambs are smaller animals. Smaller animals, they generate less histamine. So, so yeah, she had to do that. She did that for a year, and she has no histamine issues whatsoever now. She's actually been able to incorporate some sourdough breads and stuff like that and still not be triggered because she still is mainly like 95% carnivore. She's has some fermented things as well. So there is hope that we can explore a little bit more in the future once things are healed. But let's see. Lamb Daba says, literally the first and only question I asked Sean Baker years ago. The answer is a definite no, especially with all the fillers and common supplements. Vitamin D maybe for therapeutic purposes. Yeah, I'm not sure in terms of the fillers. Maybe there's some companies that are better than others. And definitely, I'm not a doctor by any means. I can just kind of tell you my experience and what's happened for me and what I've heard from others. I think that, definitely supplements are good for somebody that's nutrient deficient and eating a standard American diet because you're going to get a concentrated form of these vitamins that may come with some of these fillers that helps you out. But I think that because meat is so nutrient dense that you maybe don't see as much of a benefit from any kind of supplements because you're getting it in a more natural and bioavailable form than a pill in a bottle. So you can avoid those fillers and things like that. But like me, having an autoimmune condition that blocks the absorption of these bioavailable nutrients and minerals, um, I think for me, I need to saturate my system with these vitamins and minerals in a different way to try to help boost things along. So to each their own. You can always experiment and see what works for you, and let us know for sure. Sandra says, can you please put a link to that cat food website? Absolutely, I will. It's hare-today.com. But yeah, I'll put that in the comment or in the description. Lambdava says magnesium chloride on occasion, but strictly speaking, you don't need anything. Eat liver from time to time. That's it. Yep, and that's what I'm trying to do. Just supplement with the liver pills because I don't like the taste of liver. Sandra says I always use glass. That's awesome. Rebecca says, can you put the name of that cat food brand in the chat? Yeah, absolutely. So it's not necessarily a brand; it's a supplier, and they do really good practices with these animals too that they raise for the food, which I really like. And they keep their prices. So I did ask them about being an affiliate for them because I do want to promote them and help them out, and then also help to fund the channel and things like that, so I can continue to do this for everybody. And they don't have an affiliate program. They said their margins are so low, and their prices are really, really good. It's actually cheaper for us to feed our cats a raw cat food diet than it is to buy canned cat food in the store, and that's pretty expensive. So they're getting, you get a really good deal with them. So yeah, I will put the name of that in the chat. Another really cool thing that they offer is what they call pinkies. So pinkies are just little tiny mice that are hairless, and you can get these frozen and then thaw them out and throw them out on a mat or something like that for your cats as a treat. And they're getting all the organs and the brains and the bones and the ligaments and everything that they would normally get eating a mouse. So they do offer those as well. I haven't convinced my wife yet to let me buy those and give those to the cats for treats because she's mortified of mice. And I even told her, I'll keep them in a separate freezer and stuff like that. She's still not comfortable with it, but one of these days she's coming around with carnivore too. Christina Rose says, from all your symptoms, I believe you're suffering from mold illness. Carnivore is helping many of us. I'd love to give you more info. Yeah, for sure. So Christina, you can send me information to carnivore, the number 2, and then the word day at gmail.com. So carnivore, the number 2, day at gmail.com. I would love to see that information. And I interviewed Olivia, the carnivore ballerina, and she had severe issues with mold that she did heal with the carnivore diet. And I did think that potentially that might be a problem, and I want to get tested for mold and see if there's an issue in regards to that, and see if I need to do a detox. And in regards to that, we are bringing in an HVAC guy that is going to look at our HVAC system, make sure that there's no mold in that system. We're going to get that system cleaned out as well. So I am trying to be a little bit more proactive in regard to that, not only just for myself, but for, my wife and the cats. And kids are gone. They're both 26 years old, out of the house. But, for guests that come over, we want to make sure that everything's on the up and up. We want to potentially modify the air inlet box on our furnace so that it can incorporate, like the big, thick 3-inch HEPA filters. We're not sure if the furnace will actually even handle that, so we're going to bring an HVAC guy or lady, whoever, company to come in and let us know if our furnace can actually handle that or not. And if not, we're going to make the decision to go with a bigger unit or not that can handle that much restriction in there. But we want to have one that actually captures those mold particles and not just go with the cheapo filters that we throw in there now. Um, so yeah, mold is definitely a concern that I want to explore. Oak Tree 0185 says, I did the carnivore diet and it completely changed my life. I love hearing that. Um, yeah, keep reporting in, man. And that's encouraging not only for me but for others to hear that as well. I love that. So B Dog says, I'm ketovore, but when I do carnivore strict, oh my God, I feel so much better. I'll get there. Keep it up, B Dog, man. Anything you're doing is moving yourself forward. So yeah, don't beat yourself up by any means. Just, hey, we're on a ride, man, and enjoy the ride. So me says, question, RDA of recommended daily allowance or of calcium for men is 1,000 milligrams. 2 pounds of red meat barely gives you 200 milligrams. How can that be enough? So I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a doctor, but what I can say about this is I believe that when you are fat adapted and you are on the metabolic road to health and optimizing yourself, that these recommended daily allowance or amounts is probably not correct for people that are metabolically healthy and eat this way, and ketones are a main source of fuel. So most people that I have come across don't really have an issue with, especially in terms of potassium. I mean, oh my gosh, the recommended daily value for potassium is through the roof. Like you'd have to eat an ungodly amount of meat to get enough potassium, but I don't seem to have an issue with that, and a lot of others don't either. So I think things work differently. Like personally, I don't get sunburns anymore. So that's another huge thing that's different. So I can literally stay out in the sun all day long. I might get red from being hot, but I come inside and that redness goes away once I cool down. And I literally don't have a sunburn anymore. It's crazy. My whole life, I've always been able to handle a lot more sun than most people, and I get really, really tan. But I would burn. I mean, to the point where you'd have the peeling on your back, and you could, I mean, the fun ones, where you could peel like an entire sheet off and go, ah, cool, look at that. So I would burn, but now I don't burn. Literally, I can stay out as long as I want and I don't burn. So I do think things work differently. These vitamins and minerals work differently in a body that's metabolically healthy and fat adapted. So take that with a grain of salt because I'm not a doctor or a nutritionist, but something to explore. Lambdaba, calcium excretion is greatly reduced on zero carb diets. That's good. Good to know. Andy says, check out Dr. Berry, search calcium on his channel. Carnivores' requirement for certain nutrients are different than those eating standard diet, but do your own research. Yep, I agree. Absolutely. Lambdaba, the reason the RDA is so high is because it benchmarked on high carb diets. Yeah, and a lot comes into play with that too. With these processed foods, they're fortified. Another buzzword they like to throw around there, where they just put processed vitamins and minerals in food to try to make it seem like it's healthy on the label. um, let's see. Me says, if the body makes its own cholesterol, why is it so important to eat cholesterol? So I'm probably not a really good one to ask this question. Excuse me, sorry about that. So matter, I try to look at it in terms of this. Matter can't be made from nothing. So the building blocks have to come from somewhere. And our body is constantly recycling and making new cells all the time. So it needs building blocks in order to create that. Plus, I don't think in order for your body to have cells generated at the rate that it needs to generate, your body doesn't necessarily make enough cholesterol. So that would be my take on that. I could be 100% off, but that's kind of what I would theorize based on my travels. B-Dog says, oh, I do that with pork belly. Would the suet work? Not sure exactly what you're referring to with that, but suet, in my opinion, is not a good source of just standalone fat to eat unless you render it. So sometimes I'll render fat as well. And I have a silicone ice cube tray that's 1/2 inch squares, and there's like, I don't know, 200 squares or something like that in this. And I'll pour the tallow into that and freeze it. So if I do get some cravings or something like that, I don't do bacon because of the high histamine content in bacon, but I can literally just go to the freezer, pop out a few of these, and swallow them whole. And I'm not tasting the suet, which I don't think has really that good of a flavor. Plus, you know, it gets on your teeth. Also, if you try to chew it, it kind of has a weird feeling that I don't really care for. So, but you can just swallow it like a pill and get your fat in that way. Let's see. Fom says, do I like minors? I'm not sure exactly what you're talking about there. B-Dog says, dude, we watch you all the time. You do great speaking. Oh, I appreciate that. I try. You know, I'm my own worst critic, that's for sure. And I just want to do good for everybody. Ollie says, great live stream. Got to go. Bye. Appreciate you for stopping by, Ollie. I wish this showed timestamps of when people said this so I know if I'm way behind or not. B-Dog says, Dr. Barry and Nisha went over their labs. It was a great video. I do need to watch that one and see what kind of information they have on that. Mike says, Darwin Natural Pet Food is also good. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check them out. Darwin Natural Pet Food. The Champion Within says, hello, Adam. Hey, how you doing? Appreciate you being here. Let's see. B-Dog says, do you feel better when traveling? I do. Most definitely. Man, we're at 102 minutes. That's crazy. 38 people. How you doing, everybody? Thanks for hitting the like button. Appreciate you. So I do feel better when traveling. You know, I do feel like I need to have more water. So that's really the only drawback is I will try to restrict my water intake when I'm traveling because I just want to drive and drive and drive and drive for hours and hours and not have to stop to go to the restroom because I can get roughly 450 miles on a tank of gas. So, but I do try to, I'm going to have to start forcing myself to drink more and making those stops. But other than that, I feel great while traveling. I used to have headaches all the time, not migraines every once in a while, but I had headaches almost every single day, and it was all diet related, every bit of it, 100%. And I would take Tylenol like M&Ms. Oh, I got another headache. Oh, time taken out. Tylenol. Oh, another headache. Time to take some Tylenol. I didn't even think twice about it. And no headaches whatsoever anymore, which is definitely helpful for travel. Let's see, how do you know when you've eaten, if you've under-eaten, if you're still satiated? Well, the best way I know is if I'm hungry or not. So I tend to think that hunger is more so your body telling you eat nutrients, not eat calories, because calories don't work in the way that we think that they are, that they do. We don't actually burn anything inside of our bodies. So I think that hunger is a sign of nutrients. Your body's saying, give me nutrients. So if you find yourself hungry all the time, maybe add in some liver because it is a lot more nutrient dense, or add in some organs and things like that. And see if that helps to curb any, you know, intense hunger that you might be having. Especially if you try to fast. Like I tried to fast, and because I was nutrient deficient, I couldn't do it. It felt like my stomach was going to turn inside out, and I would kill somebody if I didn't eat. So that's, to me, is a sign of nutrient deficiency. So yeah, I mean, to answer your question about if if you're still satiated, just eat until you're comfortably stuffed. You don't want to eat until you're, it's uncomfortable in your stomach. But up your fat content. Try that. And I do think that that helps for most people, is adding that fat content in there with satiation. B-Dog says, I'm sunning now in Texas. Oh, man, I'm jealous. It's super cloudy out here, and it has been for days. Let's see. Jarl Eco says, so some add low-carb fruits. What do you think about that? Hey, if it works for you, great. I'm not going to do that because of the sugar content in it. My body doesn't do well with that many carbs, and it triggers my mental addiction to sugar. So I try to stay away from that. But yeah, if it works for you, go ahead, man. Jump in. I'm all for it. Let's see. Bob says, Adam, there is a slider that you can turn on the timestamps. Interesting. I'll have to try to find that. Now let's see. I can share it there. I'm not really seeing. I'll have to search for that. Maybe do a YouTube University and find it. Shiji R says, do you eat any carbs? I do not eat any carbs. The only carbs I've tried is a couple experiments with eating grains to try to hydrate my body, which was a bad experiment. I wouldn't suggest that, but I eat zero carbs, zero sugar, zero fiber. I'm sure there is a tiny bit of carbs in beef here and there, but I don't intentionally eat any carbohydrates whatsoever. Bob says, hiding in the ... area. So I hit that, and all that comes up is cancel and share. So maybe I'm not doing something right. See, Joe says, JMR, the Tulpameister's book. Never heard of it. I'm not sure what that is. The Carnivore Boss, hey, how you doing? Have any of your friends or family gone carnivore after seeing your results? So both of my boys eat a lot more meat. They have permission now to eat a lot more meat than what they did before. So they are eating more meat. They're not 100% carnivore. And my wife is eating more meat. She's gradually coming around, I think, not to where I would like yet. I definitely want to see her healthy and thriving. And I do believe that this would help her in so many ways, especially with migraines and vertigo and just overall health. She's my other half, so I want to see her healthy. So I'm not sure exactly what is going on in her mind that she would need to see to be convinced. Potentially, hopefully not that her health has to get worse in order for that to happen. I definitely don't want that. So yeah, friends, I have several friends now that have started the carnivore diet as a result of, seeing my results and spreading the good word and sharing other people's stories. And they are seeing amazing, incredible results. One guy I just talked to the other day said that he feels better than he ever has. Decades younger. He feels decades younger, and he's fitting into clothes he hasn't fit in 15 years. So that's pretty par for the course for those that have decided to go carnivore. And that's part of I'll never stop shouting this from the rooftops, based on solely because of what has happened to me and what can be potentially possible for others. But that does help fuel me, and it really fills my heart and makes me feel good that people are healing and finally seeing results and seeing relief. Let's see. Me says, question. I was on the lion diet for 1.5 years. A recent blood test show I was low on B1. I don't want to eat pork. What can I do? Take a supplement? What is the best form of B1 to take? So me, that's a great question. Thank you for that. And I probably will not be the best one to take or to take advice from in this area. I'm definitely not an expert, not a nutritionist, and I'm not a doctor. But if I was in your position, I would probably try to find the cleanest source of B1 supplement that I could and take that and then do blood results again and see if that helped. So that's what I would do in that situation. Now you could be, do something totally different. I'm not up on what foods have the best source of B1. But I think you're onto something. Maybe explore natural ways of getting the B1 and then do blood work and see what works for you. So let's see. Bob says, Adam, look next to the X at the bottom of the chat window. I don't see an X. I see a plus. It just says cancel and share, literally. The X says cancel, and then there's a arrow with share. But thanks for trying to help out. Let's see. BAA 713 says, how long have you been carnivore? So I started around February 1st. I don't know the exact day, but I say it's February 1st now of 2023. So 14 months. And it's been roughly 12 months of that was BBB and E. Really, I can't even say that. So 6 months of that was BBB and E. And then after 6 months, I cut out butter. And then a little bit after that, I cut out bacon just because I really just naturally didn't even want to eat it. So cut out bacon, and then it was beef, butter, and eggs. And then I cut out the dairy. That helped solve my acne stuff going on. And then it was just beef and eggs at that point. Found out that I had this histamine intolerance, so I cut out egg whites, and that was just beef and egg yolks. And then the last 60 days have been nothing but lion diet only, so no eggs whatsoever. Let's see. Carnivore Boss says, that's awesome. Carnivore would for sure help your wife with her health issues. Oh my gosh. You don't even know. Like, it would with every single one of them. And she's been plagued with these issues for decades. The migraines have been since she was little, like 9 years old. Sandra says, gotta go, heading into Costco now, getting some lingua and some other good food. God bless you. Well, God bless you, Sandra. I appreciate you for being here. Let's see. JB says, already had issues with acid reflux. So I will say this. When I first started, I was 2 years vegan, raw vegan, and then I just jumped in both feet with the carnivore diet. And I did have issues with acid reflux or like a GERD type issues. And I did have acid reflux, like in my 20s that I had to take Prilosec, Nexium. And that did suppress the stomach acid. But when I did start the carnivore diet, I did have like indigestion, and I couldn't figure out what it was. Looking back now, I think it was more associated with potentially I didn't have the stomach acid enough yet because I wasn't fat adapted, because I was just literally eating raw vegetables, and my body didn't need to have it as a lower pH to dissolve the proteins and the fats, and my body wasn't producing enough bile at that time. Anyways, so I think that was part of the problem, and then also histamine, because I literally started with smoked meats and tons of bacon, which is high in histamine. And now I know that the high histamine foods make me feel nauseous and sort of acid refluxy, kind of feelings. So I think that was part of it too. So maybe look into that if you're having reflux. Maybe transition slower, maybe go ketovore, or potentially go lower histamine. Now there is, let's see, this. I did buy this to experiment with this too. Histamine Digest, and a lot of people that have issues with this, with histamine, will take this supplement. I forget exactly what's in this. Let's see. Here it is. Diamine oxidase. So that's the key ingredient in this that helps you break down the histamine. So you eat that, you take one of those just before you eat. And I have found that if I do eat something out that has high histamine, or I think is going to have high histamine, I will go ahead and eat that prior, and it does seem to help. So that's another thing that you might explore if you are having histamine issues. So me says, thanks for the chat and answering my question. Absolutely, anytime. So I hope to do more of these for sure as time allows. Andy, hey, appreciate you, member of the Sirloin Squad. Very cool. So just so people know, Carrie and I are working on a membership website that I do intend to try to convert YouTube members over to paying members on our membership site, because it's going to be so much more value than what we can provide to our YouTube members. I mean, so much more value. We don't want to come out completely with the entire package yet of what we can provide. We don't want it being copied. We want to provide something unique, and it is a business effort to try to be self-sustaining. It's going to cost thousands of dollars to get this thing going. We want it to provide an income for all of those that are involved. We have several people that's already dedicated to the cause of making sure that this is a, knock it out of the park resource and community that people can go to that's super, super high quality. Quality to me is of paramount importance with this membership effort. So definitely want to try to convert people over from the YouTube model. Potentially still keep that, but just leave it open for members if they just want to pay $3 a month, $5 a month, or something like that, in order to support the channel financially. Every little bit helps. It helps me to pay for subscriptions to software that, I mean, honestly, I really couldn't afford it. My wife is like, you're doing too much already with businesses and things like that. And then when I started Carnivore Today, I actually started a parent company and doing a DBA with Carnivore Today, because I have big visions with the website, which the website is also getting underway. That will be hopefully the #1 resource for carnivore information, and I want to make that all free and available to anyone that wants to consume that content in text form. Obviously, I'm going to embed videos and things like that. We're going to have recipes. We're going to have, 101, anything and everything carnivore diet related, all the sciencey stuff, the studies, everything that I can find in relation to the carnivore diet. I want to have it there. We're having it professionally written, and that costs money. So anybody that becomes a member of my channel helps to fund, software that I have to use to do editing. The graphical elements, all that stuff costs money. So anything that anybody can provide in the terms of a super chat and stuff like that. I'm not in a financial position like Carrie is. I haven't figured out the golden egg that he has in terms of income, and is able to donate all of that stuff towards the documentary. And I appreciate him to the moon and back to be able to do that, and that's very commendable that he's doing that and is able to do that, and I love that. And that's one of the reasons why I partnered up with Carrie. But I have to make this self-sustaining for me and my family, and to make things sane for my wife, and so that everything stays cool on the home front. Because if it's not cool here, it's not going to be cool anywhere else, and I'm not going to be able to help anybody. So anyways, I kind of got off on a tangent on that. It's going to be super, super cool. Yes, there's going to be a price point that people are going to have to get to in order to have access to that community. That helps to cut out people that are not serious about making those transformative changes in their life. That's what we want. We want the transformation. We do want the community as well. We want to connect with people in a deeper way. And this is a way for people that would be able to have access to Carrie, myself, and other members on our team that can help drive people deeper and really just, not only improve their own health, but improve the health of their family and the world around them and make the world a better place. So, yeah, that's going to cost money. Sorry, that's just the way it goes. We're going to have tons of expenses that we need to do with something like that. Just the way the world works. Unfortunately, I wish there was no money and we did a barter system and things like that. I think that would be so much better for society if we could do something like that. A doctor provides services, and hey, we all raise cows or help build their house and things like that. That would be ideal for me. But obviously, we're trapped in this system right now, and this is what people know. So there is going to be a fee associated with that. So definitely appreciate everybody. I definitely appreciate my members, and looking forward to getting that going. Now, hopefully, we'll have that ready in 90 days. We got a lot of big things. Carrie and I just had a meeting today with another business and doing sort of a partnership and providing lots of value to everyone inside that community. Yeah, I'm really excited to reveal exactly what we're doing and come out with that, but it has to be done in a professional way. We have to have a landing page for people that really lays out the value that they're going to have, and then the ask, hey, sign up to know when we go live with this, and then also, hey, there's going to be a cost associated with this. We would love to provide it for free, but if we provided it for free, that community and service would not even exist. The vision that we have for this would not exist. We couldn't do it because we would need philanthropists, donors to back this sort of thing, and we just don't have that lined up right now. So if anybody wants to donate $1 million, we can make it free for everybody. So Blue Atlantic says hello from Porto, Portugal. Carnivore absolutely saved my life. Love to everyone in our kind community. So Blue Atlantic, Porto, Portugal. That sounds like a cool place, and I want to go out there and meet you sometime. But yes, thank you so much for your kind words. And I'm glad that the carnivore diet has saved your life. I just love hearing that stuff. JB says, thanks. Histamine could be the one. Doing also a lot of dairy through this might also interfere. Yep, absolutely. B-Dog, my friend that's coming with me to hack your health has migraines a lot, and she's fairly confident that she has histamine issues. I need to make sure that she knows your story. Good information. Thank you. Yes. So, B-Dog, in regards to that, migraines are definitely triggered by histamine intolerance. And I have interviewed people that this has actually healed and they don't have migraines anymore. So histamine, once your histamine bucket fills up and you eat more histamine and it starts to overflow, people manifest those issues and conditions in different ways. Mine has always been nausea and gut related issues, and that's the case for a lot of people. But some people it triggers headaches and other things that happen with that. So definitely explore the histamine issues. And even when you're eating a carnivore diet, it's hard to eat. It's hard to avoid the histamines. So I do recommend one of our team members, Lynn DeVokie. She has a YouTube channel called The Midlife Carnivore. So definitely subscribe to her channel. She has mast cell activation syndrome that she's healing, which is a huge histamine intolerance and issue. And she has wonderful content. She's more of the sciencey, nerdy type. She does some fun stuff on there too, but she really breaks things down well. she has a video specifically on carnivore diet and histamines, because you can eat a low histamine diet if you're eating a vegan diet too. There's things to avoid histamine wise on a vegan diet or a vegetarian diet or keto diet, things like that. But in particular, carnivore, because meats will have histamine, it's important to know which foods to stay away from, like smoked meats, aged meats, cultured butters, egg whites, leaving your meat in the fridge for too long, things like that. All those things are very important. She really breaks it down in one of her videos that's all about carnivore diet and histamine. I think it came out like maybe 3 months ago. So just kind of search her channel for that, Midlife Carnivore and Carnivore and Histamine. It's like an hour-long video, but I promise you, if you know anybody that has an issue in terms of histamine and they are considering a carnivore diet, even if they're not, it's really good information to have and understand what triggers these issues in people. So I definitely suggest going to watch her video. I think I've shared that on my community tab a couple times, and it only has like 700 views, and I literally share that video so many times. It's like, this video should have 10 million views. I don't know why it doesn't. So Cynthia says, that sounds great. Awesome. Canadian flag. I love that. B-Dog says, your vision sounds awesome. Thank you so much. I did this with the community, the membership site. So I run a membership, not a membership, but a Facebook group for my local community that I started 12 years ago. Facebook groups were not friendly to business. I owned a business, so I started my own group. I'm like, well, I'm going to start a group that's friendly to business. You know, businesses are part of the community as well, but there's always been a disconnect with the way that businesses conduct business within groups. They just blast out advertisements and, you know, put the stuff in your face and things like that. So I started this group with a way to tastefully integrate business into the community, because they are an integral part of the community. We have to go visit these businesses to buy stuff or get services or things like that. But there's always been a disconnect with how do you actually market to these people. And I wanted to bring them into the fold. Coincidentally, I couldn't advertise my own business, because after I started this Facebook group and I got thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of people in it, people view you as Hitler. They literally feel it. They look at you as if you are Satan in the flesh, because you have to implement rules to keep people in line. Not necessarily in line, but just encourage them to do the right thing, say the right thing, treat people the way you want to be treated. You know, the golden rule. I don't know why it's so hard to for people to do this sort of thing, and you know, online brings out a lot of negative in people. So that means that I have to drop down the ban hammer, you know, ban people or put them on post approval, or have to try to implement the rules and things like that. So anyways, long story short, I started this Facebook group, and I had this vision of incorporating businesses into the group, and it was pretty successful. And I did start a membership site for a while, and I integrated business into the membership site in a way that has never been seen before. And that's what we're going to do with this membership website. We're going to integrate business in a way that they will be able to market their services in a very extremely tasteful and tactful way, but they have to provide extreme value to the members. We are not going to allow anyone to come in and just, you know, a pop-up banner or coupon code or something like this without providing a real connection and real value. And we had a meeting today with a lady that is 100% on board, and her business it's a large business. She, at one time, she owned 180 gyms and had other businesses and also efforts on television that were successful. So she believes that this is absolutely going to blow up, and I'm really excited to share this with everybody, and the value that it's going to provide. And you'll get to see a different side of businesses, and they're going to come alongside us. They're not going to just advertise. It will be required that they give a coupon code specifically for our members. So that is one part of it. And we will also have an affiliate connection with that coupon code, and that will help us to raise money for the documentary. So the health of this thing all the way around is of utmost importance. And integrating business, I think, is key because they are part of society. Big businesses obviously have an axe to grind and have a bias and things like that. But most of the businesses that we're going to be dealing with is going to be small and medium businesses. Maybe some larger businesses we can get, potentially Butcher Box or Wild Fork or some of these much larger businesses in. But the criteria for them to be involved is going to be exactly the same as it is for a one-person business. They're going to have to connect on that personal level and provide extreme value to our members, and that stuff will be provided free, no extra charge, aside from the membership fee. So I'm really excited about that. As you can tell, I'm passionate. So, and it's all going to help to heal humanity, which is the main purpose and goal for everything that we're doing. And we won't stop until humanity is healed. The purpose of all of this, yes, we will make some money along the way. We will raise money for the documentary. The purpose of all this is to go out of business. We're not starting this membership site with the vision that we're going to make all this money and all this sort of a thing and have it be a perpetual thing. We want it to go out of business because there's no longer a need for it. So that's key. And that's another thing that I don't feel like a lot of companies out there is their goal. Not to say that we're tooting our own horn or anything like that, but that is the primary goal, is to go out of business. Now, am I optimistic that that's going to happen? I hope it does, but I just don't feel like it's going to happen with the influence of big ag, big pharma, big business. I just don't see that this is going to happen anytime soon, unfortunately, and it's a travesty. It breaks my heart that we're stuck in this paradigm on this plane of existence, and that we have to deal with this while we're here. So it's going to be up to you. It's going to be up to me to make this world a better place and change people one at a time, because the system is broken, and we're not going to, I just don't think that we're going to fix it. We have to create our own new system and fix things from the bottom up. It's just not going to happen any other way. Let's see. Rebecca says it will pay off in the end. People get healthy, and that's worth $1 million. I agree. I agree. I don't want to leave anybody behind by making, having to charge a fee, but stuff just costs money, unfortunately. Carnivore Boss says, looking forward to joining. David Farkas says, please answer my question. I'll have to look back and see what it actually was. So hang on, let me scroll back. Man, I don't see it. I'm scrolling way back and I don't see it. Okay, let me go back. Sorry, folks. I'm trying to get back to where I was. Lori's here. Carnivore's here. Hey, how you doing? B-Dog says, thanks. We are both carnivore most of the time. I've seen Lynn's stuff too. Good idea. I forget about her stuff. So many YouTube. Yeah, yeah. It's hard to keep up on everybody. I can't even do it anymore. So, I just try to shout everybody out as much as I possibly can because I just don't have enough time to watch all that content. I don't even have hardly any time to produce the stuff that I've already even recorded. Jesse says, I'll be looking it up then. Cool. Sandra says, wow, you're still here. I know. We're at 135 minutes now, which is insane. I never expected that I would be doing this, and I have work to do too. She says, this is carnivore. Yes, absolutely. Or this is how fast and easy it is to stop being a carnivore. David says, here it is. How is it possible there are a lot of 90-plus-year-old people who eat only vegetables and they are healthy? That was my question. Okay. Yeah, so David, I'm not a proponent that carnivore is the way to go for everybody. I do believe that people have physiology out there that agrees with a vegan diet. And if they're able to do that and be healthy, more power to them. It's not the case with me. It's not the case with most of the people that I run into. I can't even say that these people are outliers. Maybe there's more people than just that can benefit eating that way. And I don't know. What is your marker for being healthy, right? Like, what does that mean? What's the definition of that? And is longevity a marker for good health? My wife's grandmother is still with us. Thank God, she's still sharp as a tack, but she has health issues. She's 98, almost 99 years old, and I wouldn't say that she's healthy. She's still doing life, and we appreciate her each and every day and the life experiences that she brings to us and the joy that she brings to us. But I wouldn't say that she's healthy. So that being said, healthy is subjective. So it's not. I can't really answer that. Everybody's an individual, and I think we should probably just stick with that. So if somebody can literally eat Twinkies and be healthy, metabolically healthy, have at it. That's not what I would choose to do. So hopefully that answers your question. Hey Marvin, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. Lori says, Adam, what you're saying is so refreshing. There's a great need to provide a forum for businesses to make their offerings known in a respectful, value-adding way. Well, thank you for that. Really excited to get that underway. We need to see a different side of business. Absolutely, B-Dog. Absolutely. It always seems like a take stance from business. And in our community, it's going to be give, take. So that's just the way it is. If they don't want to be involved, good luck to you. We'll find somebody else that wants to help out and help our members. Bob says, we have a local county restaurant page that is for the owners to bring their businesses to the knowledge of the people. Don't allow smear talk unless you can back it up with pics. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Andy says, probably won't happen in our lifetime, but those of us in the arena need to keep the message alive and going. I'm sure he's talking about change. Ava says, please say hi, Annabelle. Hi, Annabelle. How are you? Good to see you. B-Dog. Great goal, LO. Out of business. Awesome. Yep, that's the goal. Out of business. Let's see. Carnivore cheer. Lori says, often I feel like healing humanity is like a David versus Goliath scenario. However, the benefits I've realized from adopting a healthy way of eating carnivore for me has made a huge difference. Yes, absolutely. Christy, can I eat bread occasionally on a carnivore diet, or is that frowned upon? First of all, Christy, thank you for considering the carnivore diet if you're not already doing it. I will tell you, there is 0 carnivore police, so it will not be frowned upon. If it is frowned upon, don't look at that person. Don't listen to that person. You do you. Um, you be the captain of your own ship. You be the boss. You take control. If you can eat bread occasionally while eating a carnivore diet, more power to you. Um, it really is up to you and your individual health, how you feel, how it affects you personally. Some people can handle the bread. Some people can't. I personally don't seem to be able to handle it at this time. Would I love to be able to? Oh my God, yes. Who doesn't love bread, right? Um, but right now, I'm choosing to abstain from eating bread. I don't want to make this all about me. A lot of other people do the same thing. But yeah, you do you. And there are no rules as to what the carnivore diet is. There's a book up here. Dr. Sean Baker wrote the book Carnivore Diet. That I guess could be construed as the guideline, but it really isn't. Um, Carnivore diet is to you what your definition of the carnivore diet is. Don't let other people define what things are for you. It's nice to have a shared sort of definition so we all know what we're talking about generally, but yeah, make your own definitions. That's what I say. Uh, be your own boss. Let's see. Carnivore boss, got to run. Time to put the kids to bed. Hope you're having a great Thursday. Absolutely, you too. Over the pond. I appreciate you, and hopefully we'll get that interview going soon. Good evening from Wales. Good evening to you, Rob. I appreciate you being here. Let's see. I'm gonna have to wrap this up soon because I'm getting kind of hoarse. Christy says, "Thank you. I'm just now starting to try it, but nervous." Yeah, yeah. You do you. Let us know how it goes. So I thank everybody for being here. This is literally the longest content of anything that I've ever done, I think, besides the 10-hour and 24-hour live stream. So I definitely appreciate everyone being here and spending time with me. If you haven't yet, look up healinghumanity.movie web address and get involved. Sign up for our newsletter on there. We are having pages professionally rewritten. All the topics that we're going to be covering in the documentary, like women's health and gastrointestinal issues, heart health, obesity, these things, cancer, all these topics, we're having professionally written content. Not only that, but action plans. So because the documentary is going to take time to really do it right, we want to get that information out there for people to take action now and do at least a little bit of our part that we can do in order to get people kick-started. It's not going to be by any means super lengthy. It may be like 2,000 word articles and stuff like that, with links and things like that and resources that people can take some action now. It won't necessarily do a deep dive. It's not going to be a community. It's not going to be handheld or anything like that until we start the membership site. But at least it's going to be actionable information that people can get, especially people that have cancer, suffering from cancer, or are affected by cancer. It's going to be a research for additional modalities of treatment that are not the mainstream, that people can explore and hopefully improve their health and things like that. So not just cancer, but all the other different areas. So healinghumanity.movie, go there and check it out. There are donation links there if people want to donate to the documentary. We thank you so much for your donations that you've already done and appreciate what you may do in the future. And this is not a hard sell or anything like that. Just do whatever you feel is right. And at a minimum, if you agree with Carrie's vision for the documentary, the team's vision and help to help him realize his vision and what we're all about in our mission, please just share it. Share it with people and get the word out and let them know that this is coming and something to look forward to. So with that, everybody, I appreciate you being here. Bob, Sandra, Andy, Ron, I see you there. Appreciate you. B Dog, D. Lee, David, appreciate you. Robin was there earlier. Christy, appreciate you. Ava, appreciate you. Annabelle, bye Annabelle, appreciate you. And if I'm forgetting anybody, Marvin, appreciate you for being here. David, thank you for being here. Jesse, let's see, Oak Tree. There was a military one too. I can't remember. But Blue Atlantic, thank you for being here. Me, thank you for being here. BAA 713, appreciate you. And with that, everybody, I appreciate you. Much love. And just do it. Do carnivore today. Bye for now, everybody.